Robinhood continues to hit on all cylinders, and they announced today, Wednesday, that they had another phenomenal month in November. They released a couple of their metrics. They'll release the full slate of metrics that they do every month next week. But they also had an investor day. That was a reason that some of that information came out early. So I want to go through a few of the things that we learned at the investor day and some of those metrics and put those into context to how quickly Robinhood is growing right now. A lot of tailwinds behind this business. There's a lot of trading going on with stocks that are very popular on Robinhood, and also the stocks that are popular on Robinhood are going up in value. So that's impacting assets under custody. Crypto is doing very well. But it's really hard to ignore how well the long-term strategy is playing out for Robinhood. This is no longer just a YOLO platform like it was in 2021. This is a company that's now focused on much higher end earners and also retirement accounts. So don't lose track of that long-term vision, but I'll get to some of that in just a second. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And thanks to this video sponsor, The Motley Fool. If you go to fool.com/ASYM, they'll give you their top 10 stocks to buy right now. So let's first get to those November metrics. And this is from an SEC filing. This is not from their presentation. So I want to go directly to the source here. In November, funded customers grew by 400,000. Assets under custody grew to more than 190 billion, up 15% from a month ago, and up over 100% year over year, driven in part by net deposits of $5 billion in November. And total deposits over the last year has been 47 billion. So let's put that into some context. So let's put some of these things into context. This is the dashboard that they release every month. Well, this is from October. So you can see that the number of funded customers increased 400,000. That's going to be a nice uptick. That's about what they have added since April. So really big increase in accounts in November. Assets under custody, 190 million. So that's a huge jump from about 160 million at the end of October. Deposits was 5 billion. That's going to be about the same as where we were in October. One of the best months of the year. So those deposits continue to increase. That's what you want to see, is not only the number of accounts coming into Robinhood, but also that those accounts have a lot of money coming in with them. Previously, especially in 2020 and 2021, the average Robinhood account was only a few $1,000s. So now we're creeping that up to a much larger number. We've also got some information on the amount of trading going on, $190 billion. This is the equity notional volumes, 145 billion. It was up 15% from October, 170% year over year. Options contracts, 150 million, down a little bit from October, but up 50% year over year. And then crypto is just going crazy, up 400% from October and up 600% year over year. So again, we can look at some of those numbers here. Equity volume, 145. So that's going to be a big jump in October. 150 options contracts. So that's going to be about in line with what we have expected over the past couple of months. And then crypto trading volumes, $30 billion. That's going to be a massive increase from September and October. They also compared this to Coinbase. Basically, over the past month, they're doing about 50% of the volume that Coinbase is doing. So a lot of trading happening on Robinhood. All the trends are moving in the right direction. But I want to highlight some of the things that I took away from their investor day, because I think what we still need to look at with Robinhood is the long-term strategy that they are putting in place to be a massive player in the financial markets over the next decade. That's really what's important to me as a long-term investor. The momentum of the stock is great over the past few months, but I still want to know, is this company going to be a much bigger company a decade from now? And I think the answer to that is still yes. Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. I'm going to jump around a little bit in this presentation, very long presentation, so I can't get to everything that happened here. But again, I mentioned this earlier, but as of October, the average customer account had only about $6,500 worth of assets in it. That still means that there's a ton of growth potential. If you go back up here, the percentage of customers who are millennials is still about 50%, Gen Z 25%, and then baby boomers and Gen X only make up about 25%. So a lot of runway ahead as far as wealth building among the generation of customers on Robinhood. Again, only about 45% of customers are making over $100,000 a year. So that number should also go up over time. But this is, I think, the way that we need to look at Robinhood right now is their long-term vision. So they want to be number one in active traders. That's some of the products they've introduced so far in 2024, increase their wallet share. So I would be a good example of this. I'm now using a Robinhood Gold credit card. So that means that I'm going to have more assets that are just going through the Robinhood ecosystem. They're going to be able to generate more fees on that. So that's what they're going to want. If you are going to be a bigger player in financial markets, you're going to have a bigger share of the wallet, more products that you're able to offer. So that's going to be a big piece of that. And then playing a bigger role in the global financial ecosystem. So this is the 10-year plan for Robinhood. And then they go to how do you get there? From an active trader standpoint, you innovate new products, move into new asset classes, move into 24-hour markets. Robinhood Legend is an example of what they're doing to get more share of active traders. How do you get into more wallets, generate more wallet share, more products like advisory, innovative incentives, Robinhood Gold, matches. You want to increase assets under custody. So you're going to offer better economics for keeping assets on the platform with something like Robinhood Gold. And then what's next? What's in the future for the global financial ecosystem? Extend products that we've already built in the US to other customers. So they're moving into Asia. They announced that today, moved into the UK, APAC, and they're acquiring license in new markets, moving into stablecoins and tokenization, and then introducing some market-specific functionality. I think this shows a lot of the things Robinhood has been talking about for years, and particularly Vlad has been talking about all the things that work together to make Robinhood what it is: retail trading and influence, crypto adoption, AI disruption, wealth inheritance. Again, another one of these tailwinds that Robinhood is going to be riding: global access to markets and information, and then self-directed finance. So all of these things, you put all of them together and you get a huge platform for finance. And there's a lot of opportunity for growth. This is the margin balances on Robinhood compared to some of the other bigger players. I mean, look at this. Schwab is more than 10 times bigger than Robinhood for margin balances. And there's a ton that they can still do. Current offerings still relatively limited on Robinhood. They're starting to add more. Joint accounts have come on recently, but we don't have a lot of mutual funds, fixed income, treasuries and money markets, custodial accounts. This is one thing I would like to see them add. 529 accounts, employer-sponsored accounts. There's a lot of opportunities for Robinhood to grow by just adding products that are just standard for the rest of the industry. And that's where you get this massive opportunity. U.S. brokerage, big business, but advisory is even bigger. International wealth management, even larger, and institutional markets, even bigger than that. So the global opportunity is many multiples of what we see Robinhood currently doing today. And this is something I've talked about here on this channel. Retirement is a sort of a canary in the coal mine. It shows that they can move into some of these new markets. Now have over 1 million retirement accounts and retirement assets under custody. This was up 9x as of the last numbers they reported. It's got to be more than that in November, given the growth just since the end of Q2. And these retirement accounts, $12,000. Look at that. That's double what the average account is. So these are going to be higher net worth individuals than the typical Robinhood trader. And here's that map showing some of the additions that they're moving into. They're going to be launching brokerage in Asia in 2025. So you got the US, you've got parts of Europe, and now Asia is going to be another growth market next year. From what we can see right now, Robinhood is just executing extremely well. Assets continue to come to the platform. The active trading is starting to pick up, starting to see more fees from things like Robinhood Gold, from margin accounts, from credit cards. So all the tailwinds are moving in Robinhood's direction. Now, the one thing that I will say is that the stock is getting pretty expensive. As I'm recording, the forward price to earnings multiple is 49. Price to book is getting close to 5. So that's a pretty expensive multiple for a company like this in the financial markets. Typically, financial firms are going to trade closer to book value. But this is still a massive, massive growth company and a lot of opportunity to increase both revenue and margins in the future. So after the recent run up, I'm a little hesitant to buy more shares of Robinhood, but I'm definitely riding what I have in Robinhood right now. If there is a pullback, because there's some sort of pullback in the market or some sort of recession, that's when I think there would be an opportunity to pick up more shares of Robinhood, because long term, this is a company where you need to have a decade-long vision of what this company is going to be, where they could potentially go. I think this is going to be one of the bigger players in financial markets 10, 15, 20 years from now. That's the kind of investment I want to make as an asymmetric investor. I want to get in at a better price, but I think that upside is absolutely phenomenal with Robinhood. Let me know what you think about the recent news from Robinhood, what they announced at their investor day. Leave your comments in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.